out so far. Hey, someone in Hawaii. Nice. Got a quick question. What DSP would you recommend between Musway or JP DSP? Would you recommend a different but budget? So it depends on how many channels you need and what kind of integration you need. Um, my preference, my two preferences that I go with are Audison and Helix. Um, Helix, I like for the fine tuning capability of it. If you have a good clean signal coming in and you don't need to do a bunch of correction, I mean, you can still do it manually in there, but it's more difficult. And Audison has a lot of front end stuff where you can fix signal and some signal together, and it handles a lot of things for you. So the tools for input summing, from or integration from a factory amplifier or something like that, it's really worth it. So the and if you have a clean signal or a pretty reasonable signal coming in, then I would go with like a Helix. I'm not sure on the pricing right now, but Arc Audio also has a really good processor. The PS8 is really good. I know they have a new one out. I haven't tried it, but I'm trying to think of what other processors would be. Again, it depends on how many channels you need and what your integration looks like. So um, that's my suggestion there. I did use the audio control processor the other day. A client had it already installed, and so I was just kind of tuning it up, and I found it super super lacking in the tools that we needed in order to do the job. We still got it sounding pretty decent, but I was unimpressed with that. So there's a couple of processors out there that I personally am not excited about. I think that it's like when it comes to a processor, whoever's doing your install and your tune should probably help you make that decision, because it just like a lot of these things, it's a tool to get a job done. And whatever tool that installer is used to using, both in the installation process and in tuning, you're going to get the best results from that person using the tool that they know how to use the best. So for me, that's Helix, Audison, Arc. As I said, haven't done that in a while, but those are my favorites because I get the best results out of those. The problems I run into are solvable with those pieces. I'm sure there's a ton of other processors out there that are awesome. It's just kind of what's available to you and who's doing the work. Hey, Germany, awesome. Yeah, Guten Tag, is that it? If you're tuning it yourself, uh, see if you can get. You need 8 channels. I don't know. Outside of the ones that I'm working with, I don't know what I would. I'm trying to think of which ones. See, I'm not a huge fan of the JL processor either, and I know that's heresy. Um, but yeah, I don't really like the way that their software is laid out. You can get the job done for sure, and a lot of guys get really good results out of it, but not my favorite to tune. I've done a bunch of those. Um, See if you can get a secondhand processor. There's some bit ones out there uh, that are probably pretty decent. These things don't typically go bad. So if there's one out there, if you can verify that it works, then that might be the way to go. I don't know. So and try to get as much of this amp rack wired up on the bench before I go putting it in the vehicle, because my back isn't what it used to be, and doing um, bending over all that stuff just doesn't work as much. Uh, the 8 channel? No, I think you get the 8 channel under a grand, right? Because the 6 channel is like isn't it like 750. So I think you get the 8 channel, the what the PS3 sorry, the DSP 3S. Yeah, I think that's yeah, I'm pretty sure you can get that under 1,000. Yeah, DSP 3S. I hope you guys are appreciating this because I typically listen to headphones and music while I'm working, but uh, my phone is what's doing this. So I'm making a sacrifice, my own sanity for you. Such a nice guy. If you can even tell what I'm doing here. Oh, that's good enough, right? You're not actually watching. You don't really actually care, right? So this is a reworking of the original setup, and we're not really changing, like materially changing much of anything. So keeping that's why the RCA is already hooked up. Because I'm keeping them exactly in the same spot so that they go exactly to the same amplifiers. Because we spent time tuning this and getting everything really maxed out. He likes to listen to it super loud, so I feel like it was a delicate balance, and I don't want to mess with that balance. So story behind this one. Good thing I labeled all these, huh? My eyes are getting too old. I cram for space so much. These are Stinger 9000s, I think. They're all right. They're good signal wise, but the connectors are really these connectors here are really big, and I find it's unnecessary to be that big. But um, and they also have to if you have a hard time getting them on or off of a connection, you have to remember that they screw and tighten down. So if you loosen it up, if you loosen it and then pull it off, then you won't wreck your gear. I've in the past with really tight connections like that, I've ended up messing up the RCA connection inside the amp or something like that from trying to yank it out of there, and it's a mess. Yep. Usually, I use like connection, or if I can, I haven't really had access to it in a while. The Audio Quest is my favorite, but I don't know what this RCA is about. But yeah, not a. I'm not changing anything. Like I'm really like making sure that everything is exactly the same way as it was. Hey, Craig. Yeah, dude, your car's outside. Okay, I'm working on it. But I'll tell you what, I'm gonna do a live on that one as well when I pull it back in, so people can see the craziness that we are doing in your suburban. Had to hit pause on that so I could get some other people taken care of. Craig's got me working outside of my comfort zone on a job, so kind of excited to see how that turns out. Well, it's going to be awesome. I can tell you that. It's going to be amazing. But yeah, it's a new kind of system for me to build anyway. Much louder than anything I've probably ever done. Pushing me to my limits. I'm too old for that crap, man. I'm supposed to figure out how to do things easier now. I'm supposed to be slowing down, taking it easy. Maybe not. I don't know. interesting. I don't know what I'm looking at. uh, the story behind this is, let me see if I can turn this up a little bit. Since you guys care, maybe. So you can see this wire here. It goes. There's a positive and negative, but then there's like they're two separate wires, right? And then this one's cut off. But then you get to the other side, and it's also cut off, right? And I'm like, what was I thinking? Because I originally, well, not originally, but I did a version of this a few years ago when I was at EAS, and I remember, this is me, this is me, and even this is me, but that's not me. Um, Somebody else had gotten in here after I'd worked on it and reconfigured some things, trying to do some. I don't know what they were trying to do, but they changed the sub setup, and I just realized that they changed it from. I guess we had a dual voice coil setup going on before, so I'm just gonna redo this cable completely. Some silliness going on here that doesn't need to happen. When I had the honor of being able to delegate to people who were awesome, I didn't really realize. Well, I was very thankful. I had some really good people working with me when I had my shop in Dallas, and like you just don't realize how good things are until you don't have them anymore. And I mean, I always appreciated my guys, and I hope that they knew that. But like it was awesome to have a team like that. I could rely on them to do the thing that they were supposed to do, and they did it well. I mean, better in many cases than I could do it. So it was the best of all worlds. I got really, really lucky. It was a good time. Was it stressful still? Oh yeah, but it was. There was a time when I had just like the coolest team of like all time. So ugh, I don't like getting my hands dirty. So just for the hell of it, so we've got the Bit One Virtuoso, Bitch One 8D, Bitch One, Bit One HD Virtuoso for the processor in this, and then the it did have an ML400 or whatever Hertz Mille 4 channel for running the rear speakers. Um, it went out. So one of the things we're doing is swapping that out for an SR 4.500. So that runs the rear speakers active, and then this Uno, this Voce Uno runs the sub, and that is a Mille. It's a Hertz SPL Show 15 and a sealed enclosure. When I had done it previously, I put it in a um, infinite baffle, and I didn't. This is when I was at EAS. I didn't realize it, but he wanted to try something different after that. So when the other shop made the changes, they just put a prefab sealed. Yeah, it's a prefab sealed enclosure in there, and he likes it. So we'll stick with that, right? We're not here to force people to do what we would do in our cars. We're here to help facilitate people getting done in their cars what they want. I'm gonna clean this wire with some acid because it is sticky, icky, icky. I usually prefer to just use new wire because this is gross. Nasty. I don't know if you can tell, but like, look at this, just gross. Smell this. Ew, ew, ew. Thanks, Mr. K Dog. That's the thing that has really kept me in car audio. Because after I closed my shop in Dallas, I was thinking I can do anything I want now, and I have a very like a lot of different interests, you know. So I was really trying to consider what else I could do, and the thing about car audio, especially when you're doing custom work, you get to do so many different things. Like I know like 20% of like a handful of different vocations in order just to do this silly job that I do. And welding, woodwork, fiberglass, upholstery, electronics, just acoustics, all that stuff. Even tuning, like being in the car and doing all that. There's people who do each one of those things professionally, and they're amazing at them. But like, I really enjoy getting to go from one thing to the next and to vary up my what I do in a day, and it keeps my brain interested. And I can't think of another like profession other than like special effects or set building for movies. That's about all I can think of where you're like given a concept like make this happen. This is the effect that you need, and then you have to kind of MacGyver the crap out of it in order to figure out the best way to do it, or you know, some trial and error or whatever it is. So yeah, like that's my favorite thing about all this. And then you know, at the end when you play the system for somebody and they spend a bunch of money on it, stuff's not cheap, you know. Uh, they listen to it and then they're excited and really happy, you know, and that's kind of the end component of it instead of building something and shipping it and then you know just moving on to the next one, you know. So it's real special car audio, I think. I hope that I keep doing it. I get to keep doing it for a long time. So I was gonna watch this crap. No, I gotta clean this wire first. Got me distracted. Yeah, speaking of my guys, the guys that work for me in Dallas, uh, they were all of them were really really good about helping me save some money. They were amazing. Greenwood, Pierce, and David. You know, whenever they were wiring something, they would keep all the scraps. They would use whatever they could, and you know, we didn't have to recycle a whole ton because we were just using it all. So I really appreciated that about my guys. They're off doing amazing things now, so I'm very proud of them. I miss them. Oh, you're an installer? Where do you install at? Nice. Who do I? Trying to think of who I know who was out there. There's someone from Knowledge Fest all the time that was from that had a shop out there. I can't imagine there was that many shops. It's gonna kill my brain for a while there. I used to be very, very connected to the car audio community. But when I closed up shop in Dallas, I kind of took a step back because, had to take care of myself. Still doing that, still trying. Oh, I'll let you know, Craig. It's probably going to be late tomorrow, maybe. It depends on how if this goes on too long into tomorrow. But don't worry, man. I'll let you know. And I think these will be available online to watch later. I've only really just started trying this live stuff, so but I think it'll still be on there, so you can catch it in reruns. You know what I mean? And yes, I'm aware I just cleaned all this wire just to cover it back up again. It makes no sense. Just being thorough, you know. Tomorrow, so bring equipment by it. enjoying the laid back pace here, you know? Love Colorado. Awesome to be back here. Anybody else working on their systems? I figure if you're watching this, you're kind of a nerd about car audio, maybe. Especially watching wiring. If you're watching wiring, you are hardcore. I wouldn't watch wiring. That's crazy. Crazy town. But that's probably a rule, right? Like if you're live streaming, then don't like ask people why the hell they would be watching live streaming. Silly. Bad marketing, Dan. Bad marketing. I'm gonna flip this thing around. Knock everything over. Knock everything over. Don't pull your back out. Don't pull your back out. Turn this thing on. Don't put your back out. All those are going to have to be redone. Pull those out. Left those wires in there the whole time, just so I can pull them right back out. Just finished my Mazda trivia to that. Super tweeters, huh? I can see why it took you 2 years. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of stuff. keeping passive crossovers in there with the DSP or no? Because one of the biggest benefits of using one is to have discrete channels all the way through your DSP, through your amplification into the speaker. So you can tune them individually. Not something you typically do in SPL as far as I know, but see which one works the best. You want SQL. Well, the SQ part, you're going to want to remove passive crossovers and run them active. Uh, the L part is just how much power you have, right? But then, are you competing SQL? Is that what the goal is? I'm not into the competing part of things. I've hosted a lot of competitions, but I figure the challenge of making like one person happy is enough to try to make judges happy. You know, that's more work than I'm. That's a moving target. I'm not saying it's more work. So I'm willing to do the work, but I want to make my client happy, and hopefully that's not through competition. Though I have plenty of guys who do compete, and I think for the most part, they do pretty well. But you just got to keep doing different iterations, until you get there. And you know, it's not everybody has a bottomless pit of cash, to put in. But when you do, oh boy, is that fun! Oh man, I'm low on ferals. Okay. Okay, so you don't have passive crossover. Okay, so you're set then. You're running active. What are you doing, Daniel? I'm not sure I've done. I don't think I've done one of those. What components? What three ways are you using? WaveTech makes speakers. I really like their line drivers, but they do component speakers. My Piccolo tweets. Yeah, those are the what Morel. Yeah, Morel's awesome. Oh, is the WaveTech Pro a DSP? So I've only used their line drivers, so it's kind of been my speed on those things. Oh, shallow mount sub. Yeah, I know nothing about their. Assuming it's the same WaveTech as the WaveTech line drivers and stuff. I think they're doing amps, so I guess it would make sense they're doing speakers. Are they doing amps? God, I don't know. I need to look in the catalog more often. That's why I blew on it. Thank you. I put effort into my builds, so hopefully they're good. Because for the most part, people are giving me money for them. They deserve it. K and the Moscone for the sub. You're not using the 5.1K on the sub? Audison DSPs, they run off the top of my head from like I think $700 on up to a couple grand. I think I remember the Bit 10 was like 550 for the longest time. I, I think they're finally retiring it. I don't know. It's been around for a while. Oh, at least since like 2011 or something. 20, yeah, 2010, 2011. Oh, 01. Yeah. That's hey, if you can afford it, get a 01. Those are badass amplifiers. I did a lot of the AS amplifiers and I thought they were excellent. Um, I liked the Moscone ones; those were good as well. Yeah, the ones. They're the step down from the AS. Those were really good. Oh, the Pro line. I had a 5 channel going in my car for a while. The Pro 530. That was good. Gotta concentrate just for a second here. Hey, I appreciate that. Just trying out the live thing, so we'll see how this goes, huh? You guys can feel free to watch any of my other videos that I spent a lot of time producing. I will do. I'll do that. Sometimes you got to verify. Just think about other things and yakking, so make sure I stuff up, you know? Not good. Thanks, man. One day I'd like to make a film, but not about car audio, though. I do have a documentary about car audio that's shot and written. I just have to record the narration and edit the whole damn thing. But there's such an immense amount of footage that it's difficult. It's difficult to get on and stay on when you have other things to do. So, well, thanks. If I have some kind of injury that makes me to where I can't walk for about 6 months, I'll be able to get it done. That's about as the only thing that's gonna make well, unless unless Discovery Channel comes. Does Discovery Channel even exist anymore? We made a pilot like to like submit to Discovery Channel, but never actually. Who the hell are you going to give that to? I mean, I talked to somebody at SEMA, but who are they? I don't know. All right, I'm gonna have to wrap this up shortly because I've got pool league tonight. I'm gonna go do that and then come back here and keep working on this. Client has he rented a car. He's actually from up in the Denver area, so I don't really have the choice to take longer. Got to get it done so he can return his rental car. in pain. Oh, for crying out loud. Farrell's too short. I've always avoided making my own RCAs because I just didn't want to have one other thing I could mess up. Like, I'm not saying that's what you did, but I'm just saying, like, I was like, pre-made RCAs, good, it works. But I see the benefit of making your own. I just never really got into it. An audio control overdrive. What does that do? I'm suspect. Both the word audio drive and audio control. Both those things make me worry. If you're an audio control fan, good for you. I'm not sorry. I'm just not. So um, I would look at what your source is voltage wise versus what your input of your amplifiers want. I've run into the situation before using line drivers where I've clipped the input of the amplifier, even though nothing is like the signal's not distorted. It'll, like, if you try to run 8 or 10 volts into an amplifier uh, that is designed to take in four, then you can't put the gain low enough to a one. Okay, yeah. Let me know how it works. I feel like anytime I've done like done a DS, like a DSP kind of makes it to where you shouldn't really need a line driver, but if you're running multiple amps off of one output, then I could see why you would need that. Just watch your voltage. That's what I would say. Um, that'd be my unsolicited piece of advice. Before I end this, I'll hold the phone or the camera over this and see what I've done so far. Yeah, the DSP just gives you a ton of control over the signal, and there's certain things that really make that worthwhile. Active components for one, uh, good source music. Usually in SPL applications, that's not the greatest because then it's hard to get staging when you have volume up really high. But it depends on what you consider to be really high. So impatient. shrink is really thick, so it's. Let me push this all the way in. With that, I think my pre-wire is done because the rest of the wires are in the car. So this is a good place to stop. All right. Let's give you a little taste of what's going on here. Let's see. Okay. All right. Yeah. So this is what we got going on. We got our DSP with our signal ounce coming out. And we got our 4-channel for the rears. The speaker wires there are in the car. So we got power and ground going to our distro block here, which hopefully will be pretty accessible. You know, there you go, right there. You can just put your little torque down in there. We got some speaker wire hooked up for the sub amp. RCA is going up that way. And yeah. Next step is I'm going to widen out these holes. That's my next thing. I'm going to widen these out and then take this whole thing, set it down in here. I'm going to mount it there and there. So then it will sit here and whoop, and then I'll make some kind of hook or something like that so that, you know, when we're working on these amps, then we can hook that up there. And once I have that mounted in there, then I can hook up these amps, mount them down, and I need to extend the power wire. These are the mains. So those aren't gonna quite reach where I have the distro. Well, I don't know. It's really close. If I can squeeze just like another few inches out there, because the battery is behind there. If I can squeeze just a couple inches out of that, I think I can not have to replace that aught gauge, which would be nice. Aught gauge ain't cheap. Yeah, I think I'm gonna rerun these wires. That's I think that was previous to even the last time I touched it back then. The way that was. Oh no. I'd like to run it underneath there if at all possible. Yeah, so that's what we're doing. And I appreciate you watching. I'm going to go and kick some ass in APA Pool League. And then, you know, eat some food, come back and do some more work on this. So, I'm just mounting those old Audison amps. What shop are you at, Melissa? Yeah, going Class AB. I mean, I try to get people to go Class AB whenever possible. The Voce amplifiers, I've always been happy with these Voces. This one is a Class D, but you know, the Quattro, the Nue, those are really good amplifiers that I've built a lot of with. I haven't done the ARC amplifiers in quite a while. My go-to these days, if you look at any of the videos I've done in the last couple years, I really like the Helix C4s. Those are really, really nice amps, and they look really cool. What other Class ABs? There's plenty of good stuff out there. I would do Mosconi, but I don't currently have a Mosconi rep. So I'm not up to date on everything that they're doing. But yeah, Class A B whenever possible. Can't get comfortable with Helix software. I hear you. Yeah, it's a kind of a like the software is it's not instantly intuitive, but I feel like particularly in the way that you're able, and Arc Audio does this too. At least the last time I used their amps or their processors, being able to uh, pair up any speakers and make an adjustment that affects those chosen speakers is an invaluable. I mean, that is a priceless feature. And one of the things that kind of bothers me because I do Audison and they're really good for certain applications, but like one of the things that I don't really like is like on their higher end ones, he kind of does like left side EQ and then right side EQ, and I don't know. And I just my workflow is very much built around like an Arc Audio or Helix style setup, which the way that I refer to it is it's got no training wheels really. So there's no like it's not you just kind of have to know what you want to do in order to get it done. See you later. Is it Mark, Mr. K Dog? Thanks. Tell people they can if they can't tune it, don't care how good the product. Exactly. Yes, it's as I said earlier in this, a DSP is a tool. So whoever's doing the install, whoever is doing the tuning should be the same person. I really suggest that because if you don't know how to tune the processor, it means you probably don't know how it works, which means you're not going to integrate it properly with the vehicle, which means the person who tunes it is going to have to go through and fix that. And believe me, I've done that a few times. Um, so I recently did a ground zero, Justin. Yeah, I recently did a ground zero system. There a couple videos back, and I was pleasantly surprised. It sounded really good. I do remember that the processor. Trying to, I don't want to say the wrong thing if it's not true. I'm trying to make sure that this is the same processor I was thinking it was. I felt like it was pretty basic. Like the software was real. I mean, it had the main functions down, but like there were a lot of things that were not present in that. I think that are in some of the, like a Helix or something like that. But then I don't know. Was it Sound Digital? That's what it was. Sound Digital. It was a ground zero demo car or truck, but it was a Sound Digital processor. God, I'll have to look at the video again now. Jeez, don't shoot me if I'm wrong. Well, I can tell you, I've only worked with two of those Venus. I've only worked with two of those processors, the Brax and the Zapco. Well, I don't know if I've worked with that exact Zapco um, processor. I haven't done a Steg processor. I'm surprised. Is Steg still around? Like, did they get bought by somebody like years and years ago or something? Because last I heard, they merged into I don't know. I can't remember. But the Brax is just it's the same as Helix. It just has more and better stuff in it. I would say that the I did have a problem with the Brax that I was trying to figure out in a vehicle, and it had to do with the I forget the name of the feature. It's the feature because we were using optical inputs on or no digital coax. Sorry, digital coax for all the channels going directly to some Brax amplifiers, and the feature where I'm gonna I'm gonna say the wrong feature, so I'm just gonna say what it does. The feature where it carries the volume level on a separately was messing things up and shutting the amps down or something like that. And it was it took a while to figure out that that's what the problem was because I just assumed I was doing something wrong. So kind of went round in circles on that, and it was a bummer. But at the end of the day, just turned that off, and everything was fine. So uh, amazing processor. That system was probably one of the best sounding systems I've ever done. Unfortunately, the client didn't want me to share that system with anybody because of the uniqueness of the vehicle and whatnot. But oh man, one of my favorite builds of all time. But that one feature that was a bummer. Zapco, it's been a long, long time since I did a Zapco processor. I actually started my process when I first getting into DSPs. Zapco DC reference series were the ones I was doing, and it was. I mean, as far as I recall, it was really good. But then we didn't need the features that we need now because of like all pass filters and just different integrations with vehicles. Um, uh, I'm just trying to think if there was anything about it that was. I don't know what the update on those would be, so I don't want to say too much on that. But it was decent. You could get your job, you get your work done with it. So yeah. But again, same advice as before. Whoever's doing your install and your tuning should be the same person and should have a big say in whatever piece of equipment you choose. I agree. Retail is hard because you're trying to come up with. It's like being a chef. Doing the stuff you're trying to create an audio experience that somebody's going to eat every day, and trying to guess within a 1 or 2 hour consult, which in retail, depending on what your environment is, you may not have that kind of time, and the client may not understand why you need that kind of time in order to nail down what the best system for them is, let alone the tune at the end. So I one of the things that I do is I try to give myself the best. Um, See you later, Mr. K Dog. Uh, I try to give it the get use the best product I can that gives me the most dexterity and tuning and system design as possible, so that I know I can exceed with the equipment exceed what they're looking for. Which doesn't always happen because their budget it may not fit in their budget, but um, uh, so I may have met you before. That's awesome. Um, what was the other point I was gonna make? I'm sorry, it's been a long day. I was, I'm just gonna double check. Yeah, so getting the and so yeah, so I offer free retunes or fine tuning for clients so that I can make sure it's kind of insurance policy for me to make sure that they're going to get what they wanted. Um, yeah, that was my main display there. I love that was I really liked that shot in 2014. That was in Plano, so yeah. I think that the one in Carrollton, honestly, was a refined version of what we had in Plano, and I think it was. I don't know if you got a chance to go there, but that was I really liked that one. It was nice. Yeah, DSPs, great equalizer. All right, I need to go get some practice in. Oh, you know all the cool kids. Well, tell them all I said hi because I haven't really been connected with all the people in a long time, in a while. Kind of miss that community. So actually, the car audio community was there for me at a real tough time in like 2017, and it was a big deal. So that was nice. But all right, I will come on and do a little update on this amp rack tomorrow as I'm wrapping it up, and I'll let everybody know how it's going. And Thank you guys for watching live because I just thought it would be fun to try out, and this seems to be working pretty good. Wait, hold on a second. Are you're talking about Yusuf, right? Tazi's Tazi's still around, right? I know Steven is. Oh, you mean uh Steve? You mean Steve Vining? No problem, Venus. Have a good one. Yes, yes, yes. Steve. Um, Steve was a good friend of mine. He was actually, I referred to him as my car audio dad, because when I started car audio in 2000, at um, Circuit City, Steve was the install manager, and we had a tumultuous start because I was a stupid 19-year-old kid, and he was a professional in a way that I didn't understand what professionals were, and he um, yeah, he was definitely too young, and he had a young daughter, or has a young daughter who's grown now. She's doing really well. So I see you, Ashley. Um, um, so yeah, so Steve was my car audio dad because he whipped me into shape. He went from being somebody who I remember talking so much shit about him when I was 19 to my coworkers because he was just hard on me. Like he really would not let me slide with half-assing anything. But within a year or two, I really, oh no, no, it's not something terrible at all. No, anytime you can remember an old friend, especially somebody who was important to me as Steve was, um, it's a good thing. So I'm glad that people remember him. Um, uh, he was a big impact on my career. And I mean, even the last day that I saw him, the day before he passed, he was he wanted to come back to work. He wanted to get going. But anyways, so he was the one that taught me that giving a shit was important, and I have carried that with me throughout my career. And then when I was able to get him to come work with me and become a business partner in Soundscape, that was, I mean, that was the best. I mean, I think he probably saved the business at that point. Um, but it was a big loss when I lost him, and you know, had some emotional times around that. But I now I just remember all the good stuff. How quietly funny the guy was. Uh, he just was really understated with that stuff. Anyways, I could go on forever about Steve, so it's all right, Melissa. Don't worry about it. But anyways, uh, as I said, I will update on that Toyota and let you know let you guys know how it's going. Thanks. You have a good one too. Goodbye, everybody. Have a good one.